Stephen McConnell. Steve Case is an American entrepreneur, investor, and businessman best known as the co-founder and former chief executive officer and chairman of America Online. Since his retirement as chairman of AOL Time Warner in 2003, he has gone on to invest in early and growth stage startups through his Washington, D.C.-based venture capital firm Revolution LLC. Throughout his career, Case has been a leading voice in shaping government policy on issues related to entrepreneurship, working across the aisle to advance public policies that expand across to capital and talent. He serves as a presidential ambassador for Global Entrepreneurship and was a member of President Barack Obama's Council on Jobs and Competitiveness. He also serves on the National Advisory Council on Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Case is also chairman of UP Global, a non-profit organization focused on fostering strong entrepreneurial communities, created in 2013 from the merger of Startup America Partnership and Startup Weekend. Case is also a frequent guest on CNBC's Squawk Box, Bloomberg TV, and MSNBC's Morning Joe to discuss his venture capital investments, initiatives to spur high-growth entrepreneurship and job creation in the U.S., immigration reform, and his Rise of the Rest initiative, which celebrates entrepreneurial communities from coast to coast. Life and career. Steve Case was born and grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii, the son of Carol and Daniel Hubbard Case. He graduated from the private Punahou School and attended Central Union Church. Case graduated from Williams College in Williamstown, Massachusetts in 1980 with a degree in political science. For the next 2 years he worked as an assistant brand manager at Procter & Gamble in Cincinnati, Ohio. In 1982 he joined Pizza Hut Incorporated in Wichita, Kansas, serving as manager of new pizza marketing. In January 1983, his older brother Dan, an investment banker, introduced him to Bill von Meister, CEO of Control Video Corporation. The company was marketing a service called Game Lion for the Atari 2600 video game console that allowed users to download games via a phone line-in modem. After that meeting, von Meister hired Case as a marketing consultant. Later that year, the company nearly went bankrupt and one of its investors, Frank Caulfield, had his friend Jim Kimsey brought in as a manufacturing consultant. Case later joined the company as a full-time marketing employee. In 1985 Quantum Computer Services, an online services company was founded by Jim Kimsey from the remnants of Control Video. Kimsey became CEO of the newly renamed Quantum Computer Services and hired Case as vice president of marketing. In 1987 he promoted him again to executive vice president. Kimsey groomed Case to become chairman and CEO when Kimsey retired, and the transition formally took place in 1991 and 1995. As part of the changes that gave birth to Quantum, Case changed the company's strategy, creating an online service called Quantum Link for the Commodore 64 in 1985 with programmer Mark Serif. In 1988, Quantum began offering the Apple Link online service for Apple and PC Link for IBM-compatible computers. In 1991 he changed the company name to America Online and merged the Apple and PC services under the AOL name. The new service reached 1 million subscribers by 1994, and Q-Link was terminated October 21 of that year. AOL pioneered the concept of social media, as its focus from day one was on communication features such as chat rooms, instant messaging and forums. Case believed that the killer app was community people interacting with each other and that was the driver of much of AOL's early success. By contrast, competitive services of the time such as Prodigy funded by IBM and Sears, focused on shopping and CompuServe focused on being an information utility. AOL's strategy was to make online services available and accessible to the mass market by making them affordable, easy to use, useful and fun. At a time when competing services like CompuServe were charging for each minute of access, beginning in 1996, AOL priced its service at $19.95 per month of unlimited use of basic tier services. Within 3 years, AOL's user base grew to 10 million, ultimately reaching 26.7 million subscribers at its peak in 2002. Among many initiatives in the early years of AOL, Case personally championed many innovative online interactive titles and games, including graphical chat environments Habitat and Club Caribe, the first online interactive fiction series Quantum Link serial by Tracy Reed, Quantum Space, the first fully automated play-by-email game, and the original Dungeons & Dragons title Neverwinter Nights, the first massively multiplayer online role-playing game to depict the adventure with graphics instead of text. After a decade of quick growth, AOL merged with media giant Time Warner in 2001, creating one of the world's largest media, entertainment and communications companies. The $164 billion acquisition was completed in January 2001 but quickly ran into trouble as part of the dot-com recession, compounded by accounting scandals. Case announced his resignation as chairman in January 2003, although he remained on the company's board of directors for almost 3 more years. The failure of the AOL Time Warner merger is the subject of a book by Nina Monk entitled Fools Rush In, Steve Case, Jerry Levin, and the Unmaking of AOL Time Warner. A photo of Case and Time Warner's Jerry Levin embracing at the announcement of the merger appears on the cover. In 2005, Case wrote in the Washington Post that it's now my view that it would be best to undo the merger by splitting Time Warner into several independent companies and allowing AOL to set off on its own path. Case resigned from the Time Warner board of directors in October 2005, to spend more time working on Revolution LLC, an investment firm he founded in April 2005. Revolution and its related funds have invested in more than 40 companies. Revolution has committed to investing a majority of its capital outside of Silicon Valley. He is also chairman of the Case Foundation, which he and his wife Jean Case created in 1997. In 2011, Steve and Jean Case were honored as Citizens of the Year by the National Conference on Citizenship and interviewed by Stephanie Strom of the New York Times about their record of service and philanthropic endeavors. Case was inducted into the Junior Achievement U.S. Business Hall of Fame in 2009. In 2011, he was appointed as a Citizen Regent of the Smithsonian Institution. Case serves as a co-chair of the Democracy Project at the Bipartisan Policy Center. In May 2014, Case received an honorary doctorate of humane letters from Georgetown University. Investments. Following his departure from AOL, Case founded Revolution LLC in 2005 with Don Davis and Tig Savage. Early investments include Revolution Money, Hello Wallet, AddThis, Zipcar, Living Social, and Luxury Travel Club Exclusive Resorts. These last 3 were considered early bets on the new web economy, and were early examples of what is now referred to as the sharing economy. Zipcar went public in April 2011, earning a market valuation of more than $1 billion before being acquired by Avis Budget Group in January 2013. Other exits include the purchase of Revolution Money by American Express in 2009 for $300 million, and on May 29, 2014 Morningstar announced plans to acquire Hello Wallet for an undisclosed amount. In 2011, Case, along with Ted Leonsis and Don Davis, launched the $450 million Revolution Growth Fund. The fund's investments to date include ByteCommerce, Custom Inc., Echo 360, FedBid, Handy, Lolly Wolly Doodle, Optoro, Resonate, Revolution Foods, and Sweet Green. In 2013, he launched the Revolution Ventures Fund with Tig Savage and David Golden. Revolution Ventures has invested in Bench Prep, Booker, BuzzBud, Framebridge, Homer Snap, Insect, Order Up, and Runkeeper. Case controls tens of thousands of acres of land in Hawaii, including a controlling interest in Maui Land and Pineapple Company, and Grove Farm, obtained in a highly controversial transaction which led to years of litigation by the farm's previous owners. Family. His father, Daniel H. Case, is the founding partner of the Hawaiian law firm of Case Lombardi and Pettit. His mother Carol was an elementary school teacher. His parents had 3 other children, Karen, Dan and Jeff. His brother Dan died from brain cancer at the age of 44 in June 2002. Case is a cousin of Ed Case, who served as a Hawaii congressman from 2002 through 2007. In 1985, Case married Joanne Barker, whom he had met while attending Williams College. The couple had 3 children and divorced in 1996. 2 years later, in 1998, he married former AOL executive Jean Villeneuve in a ceremony officiated by the Reverend Billy Graham. They and their 4 daughters and 1 son from previous marriages reside in McLean, Virginia, in a mansion that was the childhood home of Jacqueline Bouvier. Case donated $10 million to Punahou School for a new middle school building named after his parents. He is a Christian. References. Other sources. External links. Steve Case on Twitter.